Game one, a bit of a one-sided affair. It started out close, 3-2 early on, but Max and Lou came into the game. The fast break got rolling for Boston. We've seen what this team can do with that, no matter what the personnel is. We saw it last season in that quarterfinal against Minneapolis, where they were able to run them off the pitch with that high press and that fast breaking. Nick, we've talked already about how kind of Charlotte can flip the script, but if you're Boston, what are you trying to work on here in games 2 and 3 to really be prepared for what's going to be a brutal East Division gauntlet?
Half courts? Is that a fair question?
Yep.
I think that the team didn't look sharp in the half court. The team was really thriving on the off-ball cutting of Zach Doyle and Chris Labuddy to make anything happen in the half court, and there needs to be more of that. Their facilitators need to be looking to pass the ball and then to move off of the passes they make. Fenning and Skura in the half court looked pretty stagnant up top and definitely need to make some adjustments in order for this to work.
Yeah, I mean we've seen a lot of that 3 top, 1 behind look from them so far this weekend on offense, and it kind of stops you from making a lot of those cuts. Really, it's almost asking that one player to make so many of the cuts. The other thing I'd like to see a little bit more from Boston in the half court is, these beaters are very, very willing to make some tap beats, right? They're willing to free up wing chasers. It's Max Havlin, it's Leanne Dillman's bread and butter, and you need to be reading what your beaters are doing because they're the ones opening up the big holes in the defense. And the holes are there. Boston doesn't always see them. It's made for some iffy half court possessions and also just some sloppiness all around. Charlotte, I talked about when I was on the broadcast by myself, their shooting woes. What are you kind of saying? Obviously, if you're not feeling your shooting, you can't change that. But what are you saying in the huddle to try to work on that shooting situation that Charlotte's struggling with?
They were getting to all the right spots. They were even making a lot of very good passes. They just weren't finishing at the end there. It will come. They just need to settle down, take a deep breath, and definitely look to make the plays after that.
Yeah, and I mean, you talked about how high energy these two teams were going to be coming out into this series. And, when you're high energy, you have a little bit of extra adrenaline. Was a little extra adrenaline due to a shot? It makes it go a little bit higher up in the air. Every single shot missed was up. And I think you're right. I think Oliver Hodge, it's up to him in the huddle in between these games to make sure his team's taking a deep breath. It's a long season. They've got 12 more games to play just in the regular season. 11 more games to still play in the regular season. And then, of course, championships after that. It was finishing fourth and not quite being able to overtake Washington last season that put them in a situation where they had to fight through day one of the MLQ championship, where they had to play so many games. And eventually, yes, they did make the quarterfinals. And they even took a game off of New York, game 1. But that's when the tank ran out. That's when they ran out of gas. And so it'll be interesting to see. It was good to see them putting some new players out there. 2 of the new players were 2 of the scorers. They only had 3 goals, but it was Taylor Dively and Manowar who came up with 2 of them. So, integrating that more and more. Be interesting to see how that plays out coming in here into game 2. Of course, we've got one more game for you this weekend. Before we finish up, it'll be at 7 Eastern out in San Antonio. It's a scorcher out there in Texas, so we might end up having some weather delays, but that'll all be communicated through our social media. But when the games are going, you can follow along on the Soldados Facebook page as they take on the New Orleans Curse. Of course, along with all the content you get both here with our Series of the Week and MLQ Replay, all the widely available content, we are putting out all kinds of content on our Patreon as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend. A $5 subscription gets you all of the content. Sorry, a $10 subscription gets you all the content. This is why I don't run the Patreon. These aren't my things, but the content is really, really ramping up. Cuts with Cupid just released its first episode. It's a player vlog that's just about all of Kellen Cupid's experiences joining the New York Titans this season. CJ Carter has been doing an excellent job with the editing on that. Set a Pick starring Ryan Naraki and Jessica Markle is also on our Patreon. They're extremely entertaining. I had a really good time with their first episode. The Breakdown, Nick Jablonski doing some in-depth tape viewing of likely our Series of the Week most weeks, I think, just because of the film. But, whatever is strategically interesting to him that week. There's a ton of content there. It's also where all of our old film will be. Highly recommend subscribing. We're about to get started here, though. So let's get back to it. Chris Lecomte, the ref in the middle of the field. willing to get us started. Let's go over some starting lineups here. On Charlotte's side, Oliver Hodge gets the start at keeper. Monowar, Trey Presley, and Ryan Davis, the starting chasers. Same starting Quaffle players, I believe, as game one for this team. Bonadio is going to get the start. Didn't come in until very late into game one, and he's going to be teamed up with Sulin Richard, who's playing heavy minutes for Charlotte every game. On the other side, it is the same starting lineup. No reason to mess with a good thing. Ryan Fenning, the keeper. Harry Greenhouse, Taylor Crawford, and Morgan Bertram starting at chaser. And Steve Blitzky and Leanne Dillman, the starting beaters. You're about to get underway here in game two. Boston, 2 games away from a sweep that would vault them into first place in the East Division early on. Charlotte looking to show some life, maybe get a win. It's the only East Division team Charlotte has never beaten. They're now 0-4 all time against them. Looking to change that here in the next 2 games. And, it makes some sense. It's such a hard matchup for a team that relies on its beaters to be up against a team that is also so talented in the beating game. Keeper zone being set out here by the rest before we get started. All right. It will be Crawford, and I think this time might be Ryan Davis running off for the Quaffle. Crawford easily won the Quaffle race in the first play. This time it's much closer, but Crawford comes up with it again. Bolitsky wrapped around Bonadio, but Bonadio able to make the beat. Bludger control with Charlotte for the second straight game here. They were able to hold it through the first possession last time. Let's see if they can manage the same again here. Bonadio going high onto Dillman, wins an exchange, pass all the way behind to Greenhouse, rips a shot, no good, picked up by Crawford. Bonadio gets a beat off on Crawford, but Harry Greenhouse the first one there. Bolitsky looking to make a hit here on Richard, gets knocked off Broom. It's going to allow a press from Bonadio in the first reset of the possession used here by Boston. A big tackle by Monowar. Did Crawford go all the way back behind? No, he did not. Crawford with the ball down the left side here. Reset already used. A hoop down on the play as well. Bludger control with Charlotte. Oh, a loose pass gets picked up by Davis. Davis is beat, a long beat and a goal-saving beat there by Boston. Bonadio, a missed beat there on Bolitsky, and now it's going to be a press on Fenning. Fenning does have his reset. I'm not sure if he knows it because it was a quick possession. Bonadio and Bolitsky both going down. Long pass behind from Crawford. It's knocked over by Presley, but Presley can't stop it from going out, and I think that's going to stay Boston ball. Wild and lengthy possession here so far. Discussion here about where possession is going to go. Bludger control, meanwhile, is still in the hands of Charlotte. And I talked about Bonadio not coming into the first game for quite some time. He's done a very, very nice job on the first possession here. It's going to be Greenhouse's ball. Greenhouse has the options of stepping across or making a lengthy pass. Leanne Dillman's asking for a pass all the way back to Ryan Fenning. That's what he's going to get. Oliver Hodge tries to get up to it. Fenning is taller. Monowar out on Fenning. Fenning can't find a lane. Monowar falls. Crawford has the ball. Back over to Fenning. No, fakes to Fenning. It's Crawford once again getting a defender in the air and ripping. What a nice introduction to Boston we've seen so far here from Taylor Crawford. 10-0 Boston. Bludger control does stay with Charlotte. A long pass to Ryan Davis. Ryan Davis absorbs the contact from Ryan Fenning and puts it in. Ryan on Ryan, and Davis is the winner, 10-all. We're having some Perry Wang wins an exchange with his USQ teammate Leanne Dillman. Now is looking to press. Beats out the passing option, forces the pass all the way behind. Greenhouse now working on Trey Presley. Shoots long. It will be the reset. Ryan Fenning just barely keeping it out of the keeper zone, which is now always a reset here in MLQ rules. Bludger control stays with Charlotte. A great press there from Wang on the his first possession on the field. Pass across to Crawford. Monowar working high. Back up to Bertram. Bertram looking to hit the lane. No, it's back over to Fenning. Wang's going to get to press high again here, but Belitsky's able to force him off. Wang has to throw all the way back, which allows a long pass to Crawford. Crawford's shot, though, is off the pole, and Trey Presley's able to fall on Trailer Crawford. An ill-advised tackle there. He was never getting possession out of that, and I'm pretty sure they're going to call him for going high on Presley. Bludger Control is also staying with Wang. I think that he had thrown after the end of the play. No, it's going to be with Richard. Two Bludgers being held right now, and one all the way back over in the corner of Charlotte's hoops. The thing that Boston's going to have to choose how to weigh here is that if they try to make a play for Bludger Control, it's going to be a no Bludger situation. No call on the play. Crawford another hit, which is going to give his beater some time to try to do something. Landowman, though, is going to get beat, which is now going to be a no Bludger situation. So the Boston beaters choose to be aggressive. Steve Blitzky knocks down Richard, but to no avail. Hodge finds Monowar. A huge hit out of Harry Greenhouse stops the goal. Charlotte had a chance for a lead. Oh, but now it's a lazy pass picked off by Monowar. And Fenning this time has the big hit. And now it's another loose ball picked up by Oliver Hodge. And it's Fenning who can't get him this time. Hodge puts it through. And Charlotte has their first lead of the afternoon. Two to one, and we get beater subs on the side of Boston. William Andrews and Aaron McCready in the game. No luck for that first line of ever wrenching Bludger Control out of the hands of Perry Wang and Celine Richard. Oh, pass there. It's Presley who tries to get to it. Greenhouse is able to get on it, but now Presley knocks him down. Wang is right there, and the defense is tightening up on the Charlotte side. They are flying to the ball, and their beaters have been dominant. Wang will come out of the game now for Goldberg, but what a shift from the old Rochester beater. Davis has the ball, loves to shoot that mid-ranger, finally gets some momentum behind, puts it through. That is Ryan Davis's game. Nobody able to step up, and Charlotte has a 2-goal lead. A very different Charlotte out of the gates here. And we get Richard's first sub of the game. Mickey Harrelson getting her first minutes here in game 2. Goldberg wins in exchange with Andrews. He's going to be able to press off of this, and Hodge has a tackle. No beat on Fenning. The pass goes across to Beckman, and that's going to unfortunately finally cost Charlotte Bludger Control, but it will come with a Quaffle turnover. Beckman tries to drape himself on Presley to no avail. Presley looks for the pass, can't find Hodge. Hodge chasing it down behind, and it goes out of play. That was a huge opportunity gone awry there from Charlotte. A 3-goal lead really would have started to weigh on this Boston side, but instead it's finally Bludger Control with Boston, and also they are able to hold the 2-goal deficit. Ian Skura subbing in for the first time here, alongside Chris Labuddy and Beckman, who had subbed in just a play ago. Richard Manhart in the game as well and gets the ball. Manhart out to Labuddy. Labuddy fakes a shot, this time not faking anybody in the air. McCready looking to control the space, push deeper and deeper into the zone. Does get wrapped by Harrelson there, but he's able to beat him out. Joel Goldberg makes an exchange, which creates a no-budge situation. Skura into the lane. It's a pass shot to nobody. Beckman's able to track it down. He needs to get back Presley. Presley's able to make the wrap. It goes across to Labuddy. Labuddy fakes. Goes to Skura. Skura has a lane. Skura looks to go to the hoop. Skura scores 3-2. Boston in a high press here without Bludger Control. Was lost on that goal scoring opportunity. Goldberg looking to go deep, covered by McCready as the ball goes back up to Hildreth up top. Hildreth, a long pass, but it's going to be tracked down very nicely by Andrews. And it's going to be a turnover. Skura in possession. Skura with the ball down the left side. Peter Lawrence now in the game behind the hoops. Buddy with the ball. Madison Burns, a huge tackle on Labuddy. Ball across to Skura. Goldberg's in the play, though. Does find Lawrence. Hartman needs to make a hit here. Can't. Lawrence gets around. Bird. Oh, and it's the hoops that lets Lawrence down there as it goes high. And now Quincy Hildreth considering running. Peter Lawrence, they're tracking him down. Hildreth into the lane, around Manhart, around Skura, and Hildreth finally scoring his first goal of the season, 4-2. Charlotte with some impressive play here. Harrelson considering making a play on Andrew, but just throws it back to Goldberg. And we apologize for the technical difficulties we're having here. We're getting them sorted out as quickly as possible. We appreciate your patience. Here, though, it's Skura looking to hit the lane here on Hildreth. And Skura finds the slim margins to put that shot through, 4-3. And, of course, all of these games will be uploaded without those technical difficulties very quickly. Thank you to the hard work of Mr. Jablonski in that arena. Cody Lebov in the first game for the first time this game, and it's Max Havlin and Louis Zhu in again. A big hit by Lebov on Zhu. That allows Logan Hartman to hit the lane, but Ian Skura steps high and makes the tap. Hartman gets the ball, flips it across to, I think, nobody in particular. Max Havlin's able to close it down, and Labuddy picks up the ball. This is the beater shift where the game got out of hand in game one. Max Havlin and Louis Zhu once again have the ball, and they're working in front of Ian Skura. Manhart with the ball in the middle. Zhu, the high tap beat. Skura gets the ball. Makes the block, finds Peter Lawrence. Lawrence's shot goes through. Labuddy puts the second one through because you always play the whistle, and we are not up at 4. A big response here from Boston. And a lot of it's just been Ian Skura's ability to work in the half court as his beaters provide him that space to hit the lane where he's so dangerous. Tyrell Bird now into the game for Charlotte. Burns has the ball on the wing. Zhu presses high. Havlin also pressing high. Havlin's right behind Hartman. Hartman has to lob one over to Hildreth. A big beat there by Havlin. Ball gets loose. Ian Skura's going to look to run. Cody Lebov is all alone back, and he's going to have to defend against both Havlin and Skura. Tyrell Bird is able to get in front of Skura. Skura tries the mid-range shot. He hits another teardrop. 5-4. It's going to be a bludger turnover. It is Charlotte coming away with bludger control. But a weird pass, a weird sequence all around. It is going to be a quaffle turnover on the pass to nobody by Charlotte, but they did that with bludger control. It was just their beaters who had to be out of position in the play. Skura with the ball, already on a hat trick. Things changed so quickly when his line got into the game. Zach Doyle now into the game as well. He had a very nice game one. 2 goals in that one. Skura over to Manhart. Skura looking to work on Hildreth. The long shot. You could tell that Skura was starting to feel himself a little on that one because that was across his body with a hand in his face. Not able to make that one fall. It's a no bludger situation, and Hildreth is flying down the pitch. Labuddy only gets the wrong arm on him. Hartman gets the ball and is a little further from the hoops than he likes to be, throws it under them. Hartman's still looking for his first goal of the season, and as the team's leading scorer a year ago in the regular season, that is really a lot of what's holding Charlotte back here. Ball over to Labuddy. Soon Richard now in the game alongside Lebov and with bludger control. Being worked on heavily by Lulu Zhu. Eats a beat. Manhart does get beat. She gets it off in time. No, it's going to be called a awful turnover. I thought that was the call as well. Picked up here by Taylor Dively, and Dively's looking to run over to Davis. A long pass picked up by Skura. No, it's loose. Woodard has the ball. Woodard is clear of Lulu Zhu's beat. Does he know Havlin's there? It's a pass across to his teammate Dively. And Ian Skura knocks it down. I think it's going to be called out. Ian Skura jumps the beat from LeBeouf. Ian Skura finds Zach Doyle. A huge swing there. Richard has to throw back. Doesn't know where her beating teammate is, though, and it's because LeBeouf was in the process of resetting. Davis, meanwhile, misses a shot on the other side, had no teammates with him. Things are getting quite discombobulated all over the pitch in this game. Benadio has one back. Benadio and Richard had a very nice start to this game. They're back in the game now together. Ian Skura's working on Madison Burns. Gets by her this time. Hits another mid-range shot. It is the Ian Skura show right now in Boston as he subs out for Fenning. His fourth of the game, and I believe at least 2 assists to his name as well. Serena Montero and Kieran Collier now in the game. Ontario playing high alongside the marked defense of the Forge. Doyle beat out, pass behind. A drive here by Dively. Dively looking to shoot all the way up to Davis. Davis is in the lane. His shot, their shot goes high, and it's going to be on the hard boundary. Finn McGargan now in and taking the ball. Fenning back in the game. His line struggling game 1, game 2 so far here, looking to get things going. Also still hasn't personally gotten on the scoreboard. And there, it's just a tip drill out of Zach Doyle. He puts it through. He's been all around these hoops. As I said, he's been showing all weekend that anything Logan Hartman can do, he can do better. And what a run here. From a 3-1 start, it has been a 7-1 run out of Boston. Nick, you know, game 1, it was a lot about Max Havlin and Lou Zhu, but in this game, it's been a lot about Ian Skura. What have you seen him kind of pick up so far here in game 2?
He's taken the ball himself. We know Ian Skura can score. And Zach Doyle playing with Ian Skura, that's a recipe for success right there, right? Doyle, we talked about early, hoping that he would have his breakout plays this year. He's had this breakout play.
So what was Charlotte able to do briefly in this game, and then what have they struggled to do more recently in terms of getting some offense going?
They're not setting their feet when they're taking shots, as we talked about. They were able to do that at the beginning. Those shots are there. Boston is running a marked defense.
Yep.
This is doable. They just need to take their time. Rather than trying to rush into it, they're trying to get into transition goals and then taking those shots in transition. They just need to set up, make the tap beat, make the shot.
Yeah, and we saw it on that last possession. Ryan Davis getting a little out of control into the lane, shooting high again, kind of the story of game 1. They had a very nice shot into the lane earlier in the game where they were a bit more composed. They seem to be a little more heated there. Charlotte's also, got a younger line in the game now, a couple players like Dively here. And it'll be interesting to see, how much time they're going to give them when they get back to the veterans. But, we've talked about some of their veterans have struggled as well. Obviously, Logan Hartman still looking to get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, if I was Charlotte, I would play my beaters a little bit higher. You're playing even in the beater game right now. Don't let Skura get as deep into the lane as he is.
Yep. So we're about to get started here again. 8-4. Benadio and Richard facing the bloodshed control of Collier and Montero. Skura, the lead scorer in this one with 4 goals to his name already. The lead scorer for Boston last season, the regular season, with 19 goals and 5 assists. Davis bringing the ball up. Gets some subs. Trey Presley now back into the game. Benadio looking to take an exchange with Montero. Gets her in the air twice. Takes a block. Richard's going to come up with bludgeon control here. Doyle gets beat out. Davis is going to have the lane here if they want it. They throw a low pass in the direction of Melissa Ross. Nothing was going to come out of that. And again, it was just not having a momentum, being flat-footed and throwing a poor pass. The opportunities continue to be there. Benadio and Richard now with bloodshed control against Collier and Montero. See how this plays out. Again, deep seating. Richard all the way back behind now, basically marking Zach Doyle on her own. Benadio is able to take an exchange, which gets McCargan into the lane, go across to Scott, and Zach Doyle. Tip drill is going to be no good. Beat before. Davis over to Presley here. A chance with bludgeon control for Charlotte to get something going. Presley rips one across. It's Dively who gets wrapped hard by Fenning. Possible call, but I'm not sure if the head ref's going to be interested. We'll get a stoppage here to discuss it. Long discussion here. Big moment in this game. There's going to be no call on the play, which means the ball is going to stay with Boston. Big contact from Fenning. Fenning is contributing in a big way on the defensive side, even while being quiet on the offensive side. You know, that's truly the mark of a good player, someone who, you know, recognizes when they don't have a part of their game for a given day, and he's going to throw an absolute bomb back to Zach Doyle to no avail. So I think I cursed him there. I apologize, Ryan Fenning. Bolitsky and Landowman now back in the game, the starting beater pair for Boston. And we get Perry Wang alongside Jordy Sancho on the other side. Wang beats out McGargan. Davis is going to come down behind him. They're going to get that shot opportunity if they want it. Presley now has the ball behind Sancho. Wang makes a big beat on Landowman. It's a wrap by Doyle on Presley, but Presley slips out. It's going to be an advantage here for Charlotte on that tackle. Davis is going to take a shot for sure with that advantage. Tries to go over Fenning. I think the goal is going to be called good. All right. Beating play is being doled out. I think it's just going to be a card that's going to result in no time served on Zach Doyle because the goal by Ryan Davis was good. Game back down to a 3-point margin. And we know how good both teams can be in the beating game. Be interesting to see when Ryan Davis gets off the field. And also, will Charlotte change up their seeking strategy? They played no beaters on the seeking game in game one. Harry Greenhouse got exclusive time with the snitch and made it happen. They're looking to break. Presley is trying to mark Fenning and slow down this fast break. Does it to a decent enough regard that Perry Wang is there. And the ball is picked off by Davis. Davis going the other way. Davis has some wheels. Goes right by McGargan. Were they beat by Steve Bolitsky? They say no. Ryan Davis, back-to-back goals. They have a hat trick. This is a game again. And the second that the beating game swung to Charlotte, we started seeing Charlotte make things happen. And again, it's Fenning with the ill-advised decisions. When will we see Skur in the game again is another question here. Boston really swung the game with him on the pitch. Bludgeon control, though, is finally with Boston again in the hands of Bolitsky and Dillman. Classic covering Fenning. Fenning floats one behind. It's going to be Crawford ripping one there. It gets blocked. Classic goes flying in the direction of Zach Doyle. This time it's going to be a penalty. You can't launch yourself into a tackle, and I think that's what's going to get Classic here. So Boston now is going to have a chance. There's a wide open Morgan Bertram with only Jordy Sancho, a beater, anywhere near. Doyle is going to instead usurp Morgan Bertram's great position by the hoops and take it for himself through the rule allowed in MLQ. If an advantage is called, then you can always have the option to just move the ball back to the next back restrictor line, which in this play is the defensive keeper zone of Charlotte. So Zach Doyle will have plenty of space and won't even have to make that pass to Bertram. Doyle already 2 in this one, looking for his hat trick. He's going to get it. 9-6 in favor of Boston. Oliver Hodge now in the game and with the ball. Presley comes back. Classic comes back out after serving the penalty time. Sancho trying to get around the back of Bolitsky. Bolitsky reads it from a mile away as Hodge brings it down the left side. Classic is working on Taylor Crawford. Sancho's able to push Blitzky all the way back to the hoops. It's going to give Hodge some time to work. Hodge gets in the lane but can't make the shot happen. Sancho's going to have to get that ball because I think it's the only one they have access to. It's a loose ball thrown there by Steve Blitzky. I think Perry Wang might be able to run this one down. It is going to be bludgeon control in a crazy sloppy play there on both sides. Wang throws through Dillman to keep bludgeon control. A heads-up play there by Wang. 9-6 here, almost at 19 minutes. Fenning in the lane, throws high, brought down by Greg Bento, across to Bertram. Bertram driving, looking to Crawford, never saw Trey Presley sitting in her passing lane. A big tackle there by Crawford, but the only beater to clean things up is Perry Wang. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what Charlotte can do here. They have bludgeon control, and we're about to go into snitch on pitch. It would be huge if they could keep bludgeon control here, but Max Havlin is now lurking. Goldberg is up there by himself as Sancho is subbing out of the game. Classic has the ball behind, working on Crawford. Pass is not going to find anybody. Trey Presley's able to knock it down. Oh, now it's a loose ball, though, and Presley's going to dodge. Fenning takes a hard beat from Goldberg. Classic has the ball. Bento's able to tackle him, but now it's over to Hodge. There's going to be a penalty on the play. Hodge goes through Crawford, and now we wait for a stoppage. I think that's going to be a contact penalty on Bento, and I think it's going to be a goal for Oliver Hodge. 9-7 would be the score if the goal stands. So Bento's going to be stuck with the same penalty that Classic got just a minute ago, but the goal is good. Hodge is able to deliver the goal, and we are at a 2-point game. Havlin trying to get bludgeon control back, but it's firmly in the hands of Goldberg and Lebov, and I believe that is the 20-minute timeout. If it is, we're going to go back. We'll find out for sure whether it's a team's timeout or a 20-minute timeout. But, Nick, we saw Charlotte ignore the snitch in Game 1. I assume we're not going to see more of that here in Game 2.
There's no way they can. Absolutely not. With the seeker they have in Ryan Davis, they need to prioritize that. Especially, we saw the quick catch that Greenhouse made. The fact is that if they can give Davis one look, that's a potential catch.
Now, on the Boston side, things slowed down again with Skur off the field. What are you hoping to see more from people that aren't Ian Skur or Zach Doyle on this offense?
We saw Coach DeMuth telling them to get out and run, and if they can continue to get out and run, they're going to get opportunities no matter who's on the field. But I would really like to see some more patience in the half court. We're seeing a lot of trying to force passes into tight corners from both sides. If those teams take the patience and continue to take the lane, they're going to find opportunities.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting, because we talked a lot about early in this broadcast about, college players having to get up to the pace of play. But we're seeing so much mark in the MLQ right now, and club players aren't used to the pace of play that Mark creates either. I mean, it is constant go, go, go. It's all over the place. We've been sitting in zones for so long with 1 minute long possessions where the defense barely has to walk around. It's a completely different ballgame. And I think that's something that these players are getting lost in, making these passes that are so free on the edges of a zone and are just getting knocked down around here.
Yeah, we're also not seeing, we talked about wanting to see tap beats. We're not seeing those tap beats that lead to incisive cuts. We're seeing tap beats to clear passing options around these passing lanes. But I'd really like to see a beater-chaser synchronization where as soon as that tap beat comes, the cut follows. And it looks like it was Boston's timeout.
Yep. Boston needs to figure something out here. They're running out of time before the snitch on pitch period, and they're facing bludgeon control. So possibly it was a timeout to talk about, what can we do with this possession to make sure we get bludgeon control. Ball in the hands of Fenning. Dillman tracks it down. We do get the sub here of Dillman. It was Havlin and Zoo that played snitch on pitch last time for Boston. Looks like they're going to do it again. We just passed the 19-minute mark. We'll see how patient Boston's willing to be here and how much they're going to focus on playing for bludgeon control versus playing for a goal. They are only up 2 goals here. Hodge is in his keeper zone, can't be beat. Goldberg fakes a throw on Havlin. We're 19:30. Louis gets a wrap. Cody LeBeau makes he is beat. Bertram in the lane misses the shot. Zoo gets beat. It's going to be a all-out fight for bludgeon control. Havlin, I think, is going to get called kick beat. No, he will not. I think Havlin might have argued his way out of that tricky corner. Loose ball. Goldberg gets one. Zoo gets beat, but now the other ball is with Havlin. So Charlotte will get the last possession, but they will have to get bludgeon control back. Presley in the lane. Takes a pick from Classic. Fenning goes flying across. No, it's good. And that will finish us at the 20-minute mark. But unfortunately for Charlotte, it does mean bludgeon control will end up with Boston. And we saw how dangerous Harry Greenhouse was in his first attempt here. They might get the early shots here once again. Back here with Nick Jablonski, an absolutely, completely different first 20 minutes from the first game. Things were basically decided when we stopped for this intermission last time, and we've got a one-goal game this time. And it's a lot of the things we talked about. Charlotte has settled into their shooting games. Boston's defense is leaving those holes open, and they've trusted their beater game a little bit more. And I think we've seen more of a give and take in the beater game, whereas it was a bit more one-sided in game one.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing the shooting game come into play. We are seeing them settle in. We're seeing what we talked about, right? How this is going to come down to a snitch grab. We're never wrong. We're just early.
Yeah, that's what we tell ourselves, at least, as we try to give those hot takes. But yeah, I mean, Charlotte has settled down. They did look a little wired in game one, and I think that did them into certain regards. And now it's Boston who, as the series settles, has to find more answers. I'm pretty sure there's never been a moment where Fenning or Skura wasn't in the game, and basically always in the green headband. And we saw with Washington the risks of really being reliant on two quaffle lines, right? Mm-hmm. Because if things are going awry on one of the two quaffle lines, you're basically banking on one line to do everything for you. Charlotte has been willing to go deep into their depth, basically play everybody. And it's not that Boston hasn't, but it's always been kind of reliant on those core pieces. And it'll be interesting to see, if they can figure things out with Fenning on the field and what else they can bring out on the field.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to get started here as we flip back to the field. Fenning in possession of the ball. It's going to be Boston control, Boston quaffle possession, and probably, when all is said and done, the first shot at the snitch here. Davis versus Greenhouse is going to be the battle again. As we mentioned, first game, Charlotte decided not to play the snitch game. I don't know if they're going to think they have that flexibility once again here. Goldberg back to Lebov. Lebov runs all the way back to his zone to make sure there's no bludgeon situation. It looks like Lebov might play Quaffle again. If he's not, he's going to need to make a choice soon. Yeah, he's going to take his opportunity to get to Greenhouse. Davis gets beat by Zoo. A trade here as Fenning looks to drive in the lane. Fenning, will it finally be his first goal? No, Trey Presley knocks it out of his hand. Ken Presley gets to the edge. It's going to be Boston's inbound ball. Davis is not going to get a shot here. It is Max Havlin. It's Louis Zoo dominating as Fenning gets an assist instead for Taylor Crawford. Get a stoppage here in the game. Greenhouse is bleeding. We'll wait for the calls all around. I'm pretty sure the goal will stand. It's just a question of what will happen in the snitch game. Just waiting for calls here in the snitch game. A good catch along with a good goal would suddenly boost the Boston lead back up to 50. And once again, it's been the story of the series. Max Havlin and Louis Zoo dominated that snitch on pitch period. Ryan Davis never got one shot at the snitch. And Harry Greenhouse didn't need many shots, but does deliver. We're going to have a talk here. Teams were told to go get water, so we will throw it back here as things are discussed. I don't understand. I'm not sure because, maybe if the snitch is beat up and the period's going to continue, they need to figure something out.
That's true. Greenhouse also, it is potential for a charge here. Harry did get deep into the body of the snitch there. It's just a question of whether or not that's a charge. I don't know if that's what they're debating here, but that I was watching the snitch game while multitasking and thought that maybe that is a potential.
No,
call here.
I agree with you there. I don't think Crystal Comp would send the teams back to the sideline
Of
just for a
course.
call.
Yeah.
But possibly if you just want to give everybody a break. It's getting a little hot out here. I mean, nothing like it's going to be in San Antonio in a few hours. But, we can be Bostonians and complain about it being in the high 80s or whatever it is right now.
I can check it. It's 75 degrees, Ethan.
There we go.
It's not in the high 80s. We are on turf, though, so that is unfortunate.
Those little pebbles do us all in.
Yeah, we are thankful, though, for East River Memorial Park here. It's a great facility. We're having a great series out here, and it's definitely heating up a little bit, both on the pitch and in temperature.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a beautiful day, and it's been some good Quidditch. Things got off to a bit of a rocky start, but it's been really good to see these teams settling in. And, Charlotte last season, they had to play that opening day Super Series. They only got to play 2 Super Series. That was their whole regular season. And you saw them come out rocky that season. A lot of them hadn't gotten to play together the way a lot of MLQ teams did. And they just kind of improved throughout the season. They had a nice Super Series where they took a game off Washington, and then they went to champs and they took a game off New York and they made the quarterfinals. And so, ultimately they don't need to win the series. They don't even need to win a game in the series to still have a successful season here. They just need to be improving every step of the way. And I think we've definitely seen improvement from game 1 already.
Yeah, even from game 1 to game 2, we're seeing great improvement.
Yeah, and I gotta say, one of the players that I really want to highlight, Tony Benadio, I thought had a great game too. And Tony Benadio was a sneaky, valuable player for them in 2021. He was a little buried in the beater chart where it was not even sure, like, certain games where he'd get in. But he always seemed to be a contributor, and he's taken very nice exchanges all day so far today. And really, along with Celine Richard, the two of them have had some very nice shifts already.
Yeah.
All right, so Tyler Beckman is being walked onto the pitch to replace Harry Greenhouse, which leaves me with the impression that we are not done playing snitch on pitch play.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting, though, is obviously if it's no good for a charge specifically, Beckman also might end up serving some foul time, but we'll wait to hear Chris Lecomp's call.
Yeah, curious to see if that is the case. Will Boston try to let Charlotte score a goal quickly and get their seeker back, or no?
Right. Snitch, though, to be fair, has not walked back onto the field yet.
Mm-hmm. Beckman is standing there. My guess is they're probably just looking for an alternative room due to some blood.
Greenhouse injury, it looks like just a laceration. I didn't see any head contact, anything like that.
He walked off the pitch just fine, went straight over to the AT. Looks to be standing there. It does suck to get a cut on your birthday, though.
It does.
Yeah. We do have Chris Lecomte explaining the call to Tom DeMuth here. Coach Tom DeMuth. My guess is that we will be getting underway very shortly.
Still waiting here on this call. Just a reminder, next week's Series of the Week, we will be traveling out to Rochester, New York for a decisive battle out in the North Division with the Toronto Raiders off a 3-0 sweep last weekend, taking on the Rochester Whiteout. Both teams moving over to the North Division. Toronto had to skip out on last season due to Canada not being able to participate. Rochester was in the East Division last year. One of those two teams, if Toronto wins at least 2 games, they will be the first team to punch their ticket to MLQ championships. They will also qualify for the North Division final. And if Rochester were able to get a sweep, they would also be able to not technically clinch, but be on the very, very verge of clinching a spot. So we're only in week 3, but we're already giving away some MLQ championship spots. It's going to be a hype series. We saw Toronto come out really strong. Their beating core looks really good. But I mean, Rochester has some really talented players as well. So it's the call we've been expecting, which is a charge from Harry Greenhouse on the snitch. I didn't see a card thrown in the direction of Tyler Beckman, who would have had to serve it had a card been called. We're also going to get a snitch substitution. Teddy Costa, the Boston Forge veteran, now in the game at snitch, going up against his old RPI teammate Tyler Beckman.
Retired Boston Forge veteran, to be clear. We're not just pulling people off the bench here.
Yeah, I mean, if we really got desperate, we might have to pull Jake Archibald, but nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, absolutely not. And no way Grace Dastu would let us pull her off the bench to snitch.
So Zoo still in a good position and Havlin in a good position. So far, Ryan Davis, I don't think has gotten to shoot at the snitch once this entire weekend. And you know, as last year's league leader in catches, they just want the chance. Lebov is going to try to take a new angle opposite Davis here. Davis is going to try to pressure. Lebov is able to make a beat on Havlin. Beckman gets the first try. Zoo does beat it. Goldberg is going to get bludger control, and Beckman's going to get beat. At the count of 3, Ryan Davis is finally, I think, going to get a shot here. Joe Goldberg is going to chuck the third bludger across as a beat attempt. Very smart here. Davis going to go on Costa. Meanwhile, Hildreth trying to drive in the lane. Taylor Crawford marking him well. Hildreth puts a spin move. Davis has the catch as Crawford brings down Hildreth. All it took was Ryan Davis finally getting one chance, and they deliver on it. This catch would mean a Charlotte lead here in Game 2. It would be 115 to 100. Discussion here on the catch. We'll have to see, where the players get reset. The way, as play was stopping, Taylor Crawford was mid-tackle on Quincy Hildreth. Hildreth is now past Crawford, but we'll see whether that's how they let the players stand out. Bird also positioned a pass, but it's going to be up to the call of Chris LeCompte. A lot of legislation around this snitch game today. Of course, Lee Hodges hobbling onto the field. He must have picked up a knock at some point that we didn't notice. Of course, the head coach of this team has to be happy with the way his team has responded from a slow Game 1 to really work their way back into this one here in Game 2. So it's going to be a foul on Taylor Crawford for a trip on Quincy Hildreth on that tackle we were just talking about, which means the catch is going to be good, which means suddenly Charlotte has an inside track to a win here in Game 2 from nothing. Because if Hildreth can deliver here, it's going to be the score is currently 115 to 100. A goal would make it 125 to 100 with a game to 150. Hildreth has options. What he doesn't have to worry about is a bludger. There are no bludgers anywhere to be seen. Crawford, I think, is only getting it back to hoops for his foul. Hildreth trying to go through Lawrence. A big tackle there by Lawrence. Hildreth back up, though. Gets it across to Bird. Bird buries it. 125 to 100. It's a phrase familiar to anybody in Boston. Of course, the great Larry Bird plying his trade here for many years. High press here from Goldberg. Lebov's coming too. Lawrence throws it across. Now it's Ryan Fenning with a head of steam, but multiple Quaffle players to get through. The first one he has to get by is Bird. A big dodge there on the beat. Now he just has to get by Hildreth. Hildreth, a strong arm, knocks the ball free. What a defensive effort out of Quincy Hildreth. Havlin stepping up high with Quaffle help. It's going to be a full court press here. Burns has the ball. It's getting closed down by Lawrence. Pass across to Hartman. Hartman got beat, though, which means it's going to be Taylor Crawford's ball. Havlin is dominating the pitch. A long beat there by Goldberg, though, is successful. Ball is fallen on by Burns, and Charlotte is able to survive this crazy high press by Max Havlin that has still not ended because still there are no Charlotte players with a bludger. Zoo beats out Burns, and now it's Lawrence coming up with the ball. Skura finally back in the game, immediately finds Morgan Bertram, who has to throw through a very unfortunately angled hoop. And just like that, it is Boston on the board, 125-110, game to 150. But at some point, someone is going to need to answer Max Havlin, who is currently facing his own team while standing on the opposing side of the field and not even being scared. Wins in exchange with Perry Wang. But Ryan Davis, nobody marked him. Ian Skura with the block and Lulu Zoo with the beat. Wow. Skura has been so much the offense for Boston here in game 2. Looking to bring them level. Gets by Davis. Gets on the side of Burns, but Burns is able to get an arm around. Collier now in the game. Finally, it's the end of Max Havlicek chips, much to the happiness of Charlotte. A long beat by Wang there on Morgan. Forces a turnover. It's in the hands of Davis. Davis looking to run. Gets a step on Buddy. Serena Montero looking for the two-handed beat and forces a pass to nobody in particular. Davis was looking to end the game there, but you can't end a 3-goal deficit in one play. 4 more goals needed for Boston. 3 more needed from Charlotte. Buddy with the ball in the wing. Manhart now with it back to Skura. Montero's able to walk the ball deep with blood sugar control. Perry Wang sitting deep against the pair. Ball gets loose off of the beat, but it's picked up by Manhart. Manhart wrapped by Hodge, gets the ball off to LeBuddy. LeBuddy's got some space, gets Hartman into the air, fires one through, and we are all knotted up. 1-3 here in game 2. Now it is up to Charlotte to first solve blood sugar control and then solve a way of getting some goals. Wang is going to try to take an exchange with Montero here. Beats Doyle first. Hartman has the ball on the wing, still looking for his first goal of the season. Montero's going to get a press opportunity off that tap beat. Davis, though, goes right around her, hits the lane. Zach Doyle doesn't just block it, he catches it, and now it could go the other way. Bludger is back in Perry Wang's hand. 1-3. Skura with the ball on the left. Hodge can't be beat. Pass across to LeBuddy. There's the beat that they were talking about. Burns has to step up. LeBuddy gets in the lane. Gets it over to Skura. Skura with the pass to Doyle. We've seen it before. We're seeing it again. 130-125. Hodge is past half, so can't be active player. He gets beat, so we're just going to have the Miguel Esparza rule in effect. He's going to have to just pick it up in his own quaffle zone. Ball not live till it got there. Hodge is going to sub out. Monowar back in the game. A high press here again from Montero. She's able to throw it back without trouble. Oh, it's Perry Wang with a huge jump over the Kieran Collier beat. But there's a tackle in the quaffle game. It's a scrum picked up by Manowar. Manowar, pump fake, tries to get by Skura. Hits the mid-range shot. Yes, we're going to wait. I thought that one went through. I think the goal ref also put his hands up, but we'll have to wait and see. We're going to wait on the call here. It's currently Boston needs 2 more, and Charlotte would need 3 more, 2 more if this goal is good. All right. So Wang is going to be called for playing after beat. It's going to be a blue card. It's going to negate the goal. It's going to be a huge fast break opportunity for Boston. This could be the blue card that decides this game. Skura has the ball in his hands. I think for sure this team is going to run here. Only Richard back in position. A big response here from Boston off of that snitch catch by Ryan Davis. Skura looking to run. Monowar gets into his zone, so he can't be beat. But again, it's Zach Doyle in position to hit. 140-125. Richard is not able to get blood sugar control off of Kieran Collier, who plays very nicely there. So now it's blood sugar control with Boston and only needing 1 more goal. Charlotte doesn't just need a goal here. They need to make sure they don't leave themselves in a situation where they could get pressed. And Montero's been bossing the game from a very high position for the last few possessions. Bonadio now back in the game. We've talked about what he's done so far. He takes a trade with Montero. That is going to be blood sugar control to Charlotte. Monowar gets wrapped, but it is a beat on Doyle. LeBuddy has the grab. The ball is out. Picked up by Ross. Ball is loose. Monowar has it again. LeBuddy's going to be beat. Monowar looking to drive. Monowar right around Skura. Pass to Davis is high, and LeBuddy falls on it. Maybe he could have done it himself there, but we do have a call coming. Action-packed finish here in Game 2 of the series of the week. We knew that Game 1 was probably going to be an aberration, and the Charlotte team coming out with so much more heart here in Game 2, playing more effectively on the offensive end for sure, and now a chance here to get a goal that can bring them a little bit closer, but it's also going to take some defensive stops, and the way Ian Skura and Zach Doyle have been working on the offensive end, it's not going to be an easy task. Long conversation here amongst the reffing staff. So it's going to be LeBuddy, that grab he attempted as the initial drive was happening. He's going to be put in the box for it. And I think this is going to be a very good chance for either Monowar or Davis or both of them to score going the other way. Bludgers are... I don't believe Collier has one. Yeah, it's Montero who has a bludger all the way on the left edge of the play. Far edge on your screen. Monowar's going to have a lane to hit, and he has a pass off to Davis if he needs it. He's got to be quick, though. Montero's going to come into the play pretty quickly. Manhart slows him down. A big beat there on Collier, and the goal is good. Bludger control and a goal. Everything Charlotte needed. Charlotte's still in this one, 140 to 135. What can't happen here is Charlotte's defense cannot lose Zach Doyle. Doyle currently all alone back there. No, now it's going to be some coverage on the side of Melissa Ross. Slow play from LeBuddy here. Back up to Skura. Beat on Bonadio, but he throws back. And it's Doyle. No, it's a block. It's either a block or no good goal. A big play there by Monowar if he was able to get a hand on it. Ball back to Charlotte. They have bludger control. They can make it a next goal win situation with one more goal here. Davis has the ball. Monowar on the wing. Celine Richard and Tony Bonadio, a great shift the last few minutes, able to keep bludger control. It's Doyle gets beat out. Hartman working the post. Davis can't make the mid-range shot. Oh, Richard's able to win an exchange, and she needed to win that one, or it might have been a rapid no bludger situation going the other way. Andrews and McCready back in for their second shift of this one. Boston with another chance to win. First chance came oh so close, but Doyle was denied. Now Doyle's off the field. Beckman in his place. Exchange of beats. Skura looking to work in the lane. Over to LeBuddy. LeBuddy, bounce past the Manhart. Manhart pushed down by Hartman. Hartman's going to have a lot of clear space here. Andrews does have one bludger back, and it's just a loose ball falling on. Another poor decision out of Hartman. With bludger control, they could have slowed it down. I'm not sure he ever had eyes on Andrews' bludger. Believe this is Boston's third chance at a game-winning goal here. Scott in the game for Manhart. LeBuddy has it up top. Skura wants it on the wing. Ian Skura directing traffic from up top. A beat on Davis. Skura into the lane. Skura puts it around. Hartman. Boston has taken game 2. It was the Ian Skura show, and it was going to have to be his goal that ended it. Boston responds to adversity, goes down 2 goals in the end game, but makes it happen. A big performance from some of their key players to walk away with that one. Whew. 150-135. A fun one there, Nick. What'd you see coming down the stretch there?
I mean, we saw Charlotte's inability to score. They kind of got a little bit antsy there at the end there. Davis taking that flat-footed, long mid-range shot, especially when they had all the space in the world to take off of that tap beat. Boston continued to remain composed. Ian Skura honestly getting such little resistance until right up next to the hoop there for the easy goal at the end there. That's just a team that has players who have played in these game goal-to-go situations more often than Charlotte. But, I mean, Charlotte gave a great game. I expect to see much the same in Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about how people tighten up in this end game. It really is nothing like anything Quidditch has had before. And yes, now we do both use it both in USQ and MLQ, so these players are definitely getting more used to it. But every possession has so much value in a way that, people aren't necessarily used to in Quidditch. And just little things. You mentioned that flat-footed shot from Davis. Also the Hartman fast break where he really could have slowed it down. I mean, the opportunities were there. It took Boston 3 tries to get that game-winning goal. We are going to need to, whether they sweep the series or not, we need to find an offense from Boston that isn't just Ian Skurra and Zach Doyle if they're going to succeed on the season. It'll be interesting to see what they can bring out in Game 3.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so that's going to wrap up Game 2. We'll be back in just under 15 minutes for Game 3 here at our Series of the Week in East Boston. Boston Forge up 2-0. Charlotte looking to get one back here in Game 3. We'll be right back.